Art students, welcome back to the drawing table, and today we have another exciting drawing event. Keyword in drawing. Now, this time we're going to use a Captain America photo, and this is not the greatest, the clearest, but this is the way it was downloaded. It was not clear downloaded, and I've looked for pictures that would suit my need, and this is the closest I came to for what I need for you guys. Now, a couple things is I got my window open because it just rained and it's hot in this room. So if you hear birds, that's because the window's not too far from where we are. And if you hear thunder, that means this storm is still somewhere. So today I'm going to show you more breaking down of the anatomy, except I'm going to use two colors this time to put the anatomy together to make it a little easier for you guys. And this is for you guys that are wanting to really learn how to draw and are having a hard time with it, with the body. And as I always say, if you take the body and you break each piece down, when we learn to draw, we tend to try to draw everything together, as in we draw the arm connected to the shoulder, or connected to the other thing, connected to this, connected to that. But if you separate each piece, it makes it easier to draw. And this is what I'm going to do with this video, because I'm doing a series of action pose positions, and this should help you, regardless of what skill level you might be on. I'm sharpening my pencil because it's best to have a sharpened pencil. Okay, so in the last video, and this fell out my book, my 360 action pose position 360 book, this thing right here, which you can find on Amazon. This fell out. What I did in this book is I broke down the anatomy into pieces. I took the anatomy apart and I broke it down into each little piece, and each piece is just a simple shape that we can draw. I mean, there's nothing hard on this thing that you can't draw. You put them together, you add a little bit of extra line to them to connect them, and then you have this, you have your body. You have that right form, and from here I can turn this into Batman or Superman or Black Panther or whatever. Now, if you want to do something like the Hulk, then you just have to make the body parts bigger. That's all. You have to make these shapes bigger on the body. So again, these are the body parts that you use. I'm going to show you each piece separately and put them together by using one piece for blue, one piece for red, to show you guys how easy it is to draw. And the blue and the red does not represent Captain America. This is just the fact that, yeah, I found this picture and it's no help. All right, so when you draw, and assuming that you are drawing from something, and that's what we do when we're young, when we first, not young, but when we first learn to draw, we see something we like and we try to, redraw it. So the first thing you do is when you draw, especially anatomy, is you want to draw your biggest piece first, and that's the torso. You draw your torso first. You never, ever, ever, I don't care what master teacher told you to draw your head first, they lied to you. Don't ever draw your head first unless you're just drawing a headshot. You want to draw that torso first, and the torso is, let's get that. The torso is this right here, and this is just an oval. This is the rib, how the rib cage actually is, the shape of the rib cage here, and then your stomach fits in here, your waist is on the side, your neck goes in that hole. Okay, so that's simple. So you want to draw that oval first, and I've got my white background to keep the black desk from shining like it was with the light that I have going. So I'm going to draw my oval first, leaving a little room for the head. Okay, this is the top of my paper. If it's hard to see, because it's hard to see for me, because this is like so close to the same color in my eyes with this light. In editing, it might be different. Online, it might be different. So I'm going to do my oval. I'm going to just kind of like the sides that I really want. Okay, this is enough room for my head. The head is not going anywhere. But because of this arm, I'm going to drop this down. So what I'm going to do is flip this up. I didn't think about the arm. I'm not necessarily going to draw the shield. I'm just going to draw the arm so I can still see through that. I can see through that. So let's switch. So giving room for the arm, that's one thing. You kind of have to visually see what you're going to draw and say, okay, this is going to be from here to here, and give it enough room. So I'm going to do this. This is my oval, okay? I'm just drawing this circle over and over until I'm satisfied with the shape, And the darker line, the darkest line is the line that I'm actually going to use. It's a me thing. This is just how I do it. All right, so we have that. Next thing you're gonna do, and we're gonna breaking it down each piece by piece. The next thing you want to do is you want to find that center line. Center line is going to be, because your body is basically two halves put together equal. Okay, so this is your center line right here. It goes all the way down the center, split it. So in a lot of cases, when you draw, that body's going to be turned. So that center line is going to be to the side. It's going to be tilted. It's going to be twisted. You know, so you just have to look out for that center line. So his center line is like right here, and it curves around and it goes down right to the crotch. So it's kind of like doing an S like that. That's his center line. And I said I wasn't going to draw on my exact example paper. So I'm going to do center line. So this is just from here to here. This is not the waist. This is not the hips. So I'm going to do here, and you're drawing without a lot of detail, because if you have to erase, then it's easy for you to erase instead of drawing the face, the ears, and the A, and then you get mad and you don't want to erase and you get frustrated. And a lot of artists will never make it because they get frustrated because they can't do it because nobody taught them the first steps in doing it, and then they never become that full potential artist that they wanted. Okay, so we have this right there. That's the center line here. And then we're going to go next for the collarbone. Collarbone is your bone, collar, and your collar. That's your collarbone. Now with Cap, he's tilted. So a lot of times when pictures, you have to watch that too. You have to know, look and see if the picture is tilted or the collarbone is tilted. Those are kind of the first couple things you need to look at when drawing your picture. And it's not going to be up top because this part is going to be the shoulder, so you want to bring it down just a little bit like that. So that's going to be that tilt. And you got to know that the chest is going to be tilted too as well on the same line. So halfway down, I'm going to tilt that chest. We're not going to really use it yet. This is just, we're still working on the torso. All right. So underneath that, where the stomach is going to be like a mountain. And the top of the mountain is going to be right here. And the sides are not going to go all the way to the side. It's just going to go to, how can I explain that? So let's just do this. Let's do this V like this. And you want to leave some room on the side because your abs are going to come in. Usually I'll do round because it is round. It's not a V. But for those that are beginners, do a V. And you can round it off later. So that V. So doing the torso. So right here where this point hits this curve and where this upside down V, which is, I call it the mountain or the tunnel, hits. You're going to have this curve here. You're going to have the same amount of curve right there. And that's telling you where the body turns at. Okay? Because the chest is flat, but then it turns to go around the side. So that's what this line is for. So we're basically breaking down the torso. And then here, and all of this is subject to change, but this is your basics. But I'm getting into detail with the torso, which I wasn't planning on it. But because he has that turn and that twist, it makes it a little easier. Because once you get this right, the rest is just is simple. It's child's play. So you want to put a V right here where the neck is. The point is going to be on the center line, like that. So basically you have that V here, you have that V there, you have that tilt for the shoulder, tilt for the chest. And this is really important because remember, this line and this line are going to come to that point. All right. So now you have that. Now he's leaning a little bit more. So the more you lean, let me show you this. The more you lean, I'm getting ahead of myself. The more you lean, the more that line becomes more of a V shape. Okay. That collarbone. So his is like this. So this is the standard basic. Okay. I've got this. So now I'm saying, okay, he's leaning. Let me bring that down a little bit more. And that arm is up. Which means I'm going to change that neck. So same thing. The V right there and there. Remember, the more you character leans, the more this is going to be a V. Chest is going to stay the same. So, okay, so now we're going to take that. We're taking that, and let's just imagine that this is what we just drew. Only because I needed this little hole. So this is what we're going to do. And then we're going to draw the waist. The waist, basically, the torso sticks on top of the waist and it rotates. That's all it is. Most of this stuff is the same thing. Everything rotates on top of something else. So imagine this is a ball, but this is going to be more of a ring or a cylinder. So it's going to be down and down. It's not going to be right here. It's going to be more to the side. It's going to be like this. So you see this belt. This belt is representing the waist. Okay. So that's the same thing. So that belt is coming down like this and this, except we want to round it off. Because when you tilt your body, okay, you have this. When you tilt your body, this is going to pinch and this is going to stretch, and it's going to pinch into your love handle or your obliques, and this is going to stretch this other side. So it's going to be the same thing when you bend forward like that. So we've got this, and this is basically a cylinder. Oh, you know what I was going to, this is the purpose of using the two colors. I'm going to show you this. Where did my blue go? And see, I call this the tuna can because it's the shape of a tuna can, or the shape of this thing right here. I don't want to say its name because it'll come to life. So using the blue, I'm going to do this. So if I continue around, it's just going to be like that. Remember I said it's sitting, it's like a ball sitting in this. If I chop this off here and I put the ball in here, it's just sitting on that, or vice versa. It's just sitting on that. So just imagine having a thick belt, a really thick belt, and that belt is gonna hit where this comes in and goes up. That belt is gonna sit right there on top of that, underneath that ball. So it's basically holding it. All right, so the next thing is, as I always say, when I first started to draw, it was extremely hard for me to do, because I tried to do everything in one little piece. And then when I finally realized to break the pieces down, I had to say to myself, what does it look like? Because I couldn't draw all the curves and the muscles and get all that stuff right. So I said it looks more like this, 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 and this. So I started naming stuff, and I call this the upside down house. This is the hips. Hips, waist, hips. Yeah, those two, I need to write it down and put it this way. So it's going to be like this, following that center line. Remember that center line is more like an S. That center line is going to come like this. So whatever drawing you do, look at the end of his crotch, okay? That's where that point is going to be at, and you need to follow it from here down. And usually the abs right here, the lines for the abs, if they have abs, it gives you that indication of where to twist. Once this is a solid piece, this is not going to bend. This is going to stay straight, hard, shall we say. It bends here, and then this is a solid piece too. The hips are solid, so that line is not going to really bend either. It's just going to twist right here in the center and then come down to whatever that point in that crotch is. So look out for that whenever you draw. So this one is going to come down like this, and I'm just going to draw the actual upside down house, the whole house, and we'll put the leg and bend it later. So this is the hard part right here. Once you get this and you get these pretty much close to what you're drawing, then you've got it. You've got it. She's got the tilt, he's got the twist, and he got the upside down house is right. That is the hardest part that you do. And remember, this is round. What color am I using? This is round too. The whole thing, the whole body is round like this blue. Can you see that? Yes, you can. All right, so you have these balls. Where's my thing at? These balls, circles for your deltoid muscles, and you have your collarbone, and your collarbone comes right over top of these muscles, not in the center, not below, but right on top. So basically they just kind of like hook onto them, and they just hang like a weight, balance weight. So wherever you have these, then you're going to have that delt right up under it. Well, see, this one arm is up, but still it's going to be that delt, and it's going to be up under it. Easy way. So I'm going to have a delt right here, which is just a circle. And because he's turned, you're not going to see that entire circle. He's right here. This is the circle. And as I turn it, You won't see that whole circle. You're going to see part of that circle. But from in here, and it's something I said in the last video, what I used to do all the time is draw this, because toys don't have shoulders at work. I don't care. This is the closest figure that I've gotten that came close to moving right, except for the shoulders. The shoulders, when you lift your arm up, your shoulders kind of crinkle up, and this goes close to your face. This goes close to your face. So you really don't see this, but we're so used to drawing from toys that don't have shoulders. Most times we have the cheap toys that just go up and down, and then bend like this. So we don't have our shoulders right. But when you draw your delt, and it's something I used to do, I would always draw it on the end. I kind of knew the basics of it, but I never turned that delt in like I should have turned it in. And yeah, that was my weakness when I was young. So your delt is going to go here, and it's going to go into that torso. Okay, so with Cap's thing, it's going to go a little higher, and we'll get to that later. I just want to get you to do the basic shapes first. Get the basic form first. Okay, so we have that, and then we got an arm that goes back. Your arm is just cylinder or oval. Right here I have cylinder, but if you're drawing a big guy, you round it off, could be an oval. So I'm going to do, and I'm not going to use the shape, I'm just going to bring it back. Let's just do the cylinder because it's easier. Cylinder, and I said I was going to draw through so you guys could see, you guys can kind of understand a little better. Cylinder right there. Same thing with the other arm. It's a cylinder, and it's going to go over. So it's going to hit that ball like this. You got the ball, which is the delt. You got this, and it's going to rotate. Remember, all of this stuff is going to rotate around that ball. Okay? So got my ball here, circle, ball. And I'm going to put this cylinder right here on top of this ball. There's my cylinder. This part is going to be represented as putting my stuff down together. I have a cat. I have a little kitten, and I think it's at the door. So this part is going to be represented as a triangle, a cone. I keep saying triangle, but it's a cone. Pause. Okay, yes, I have a kitten, and it's at my door trying to get in. They always put their paws up under the door, disturbing my flow. So anyway, whenever it hears my voice, it comes to life. So it hears me doing this video. So, okay, this is going to be a cone right here. Not your cone, your cylinder right here. You can do the ball right here. I'm going to do the ball in red. Usually I don't do that because I go without it. But for the beginners, I'm going to do the ball. Should I do the ball in blue? No. So I'm going to do the cylinder, or the cone, in blue. So it's going to rotate on that ball. It's going to rotate around that ball, and it's going to go like this. Cone. And because it's a cone, the fact that this part is fat and it narrows down. So the closest shape to that is the cone. And the thing is, as I say, you have to learn to manipulate your shapes. Here's the cone. If you turn the cone this way, you'll see more circle in the back, and you see more point in the front. If you go back this way, you will see more circle and less point in the front. So that's how you have to look at it. If something has a wristband or something on, that way you can tell, okay, that's the back of the cone, and it goes to the point. And what you do is you just chop it off where you put your wrist. Where your wrist is going to go, you just chop that point off like that. Plain and simple. So this one is going to go this way. So this cone is on that ball again. So it's going to go like this. And then actually this goes back. I'll adjust that later. It's going to go like this. And then this. And chop that off where you want that wrist to go. All right, so now we have that. We have the arms up. We have the torso. It's looking pretty good. It's looking close to the thing, and we're just using these basic shapes to do it. I'm not trying to connect this and connect this and connect this. I'm putting it all together separately. That way, if it does not look right, I can erase that one piece and shift it to make it right. And versus me trying to draw this beautiful bicep, tricep, and the veins, and then I find out it's wrong, then I have to erase it. And I don't want to erase it because it looks so good the way I did it, but it's wrong. So I don't want to erase it. So I get frustrated and I crumple up the whole thing and I throw it away and I never draw again. This is not how artists do. So now this is the leg. Let's do the leg. The leg is a oval or a cylinder. Where's my little paper at? Right here I use cylinders. But because the legs are so fat and roundish, you can do an oval. There's the lightning, because as I said, it's raining. Not here, it rained. I think it's moving on. So if you take this leg, okay, this is part of the leg, this is the knee, this is the shin. All right, so if you bend this like this, then your leg is going to bend like he's sitting down. So it depends on how much the leg goes and determines how much of this you're going to see and how short it is. So with his leg coming up, let's use the big guy. I call this the big guy because it's like the biggest figure I have. With that, if this is going to be that cylinder or that oval, and I bend this up in the knee, you see how short that becomes, and it just becomes just an oval. So usually I'll use an oval when I'm drawing. But if it was a cylinder, you'd have the front part right here and the back part right there. So blue. Okay, so I'm going to, because this is up and what I see is more of a circle. Okay, so this is that cylinder that is facing me. And I try to hold this while I'm drawing this. This is that cylinder that's facing me, right? Now I also see the inside of that cylinder, which would be straight down. But because this knee is not straight, this leg is not straight up, I can see some of this. I can see some of this. I'm not going to put this circle right here. I'm going to move that circle over right here. So this is where my knee is going to be, right here. Because you can see this, you can see this. It's going to be right there. What is my time? 23 minutes. Let me speed this up. I don't want an hour teaching because people have they have that limited I don't want to say time, the span of time that they want to learn. That's why they want to go to these short videos and learn absolutely nothing. I did a rave on that on the other video. I'm not going to do it here. So okay, so this is bringing that leg up, and you can tell by this circle here and there's a circle back there. So it's almost like a cone. Yeah. My knee is going to be here. Now this, when you do something bent back, it's going to be the same thing. So I have this leg bent like this. Let me move this over. So this leg is going to be behind it, bent the same way, per se, with a knee in the middle. Because it's blue, so this is going to be red. Now, since a lot of this is behind that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. Remember, it's going to be a cone because this one is more narrower. Where's my paper? This one's more thicker. This one's more narrower than that. So it's going to represent the cone. So the same thing, you're going to have the same thing as the arms and legs. You're going to have the circle, cylinder, circle if you must, and a cone. So you're going to have this, the cylinder, circle, and the cone. So you're drawing the same thing again, different angle. All right, so we have this, and then we're going to shorten that cone. That's all it is. So here is the cone, and here is a short cone. That cone would not be a circle. It would be more an oval going back like that. And then the foot is coming from the back, and the foot is basically just a half a triangle. Like that, being straight here and curving out there. Half a triangle. If I did that, I'd have the whole triangle. So it's half a triangle. So the other thing, the other leg, so we have this leg. So we have the other leg, which is going to go back. So we have your cone, no, you have your cylinder, And that cylinder is going to go back. And anytime you draw, let me get my example paper out. Going in perspective, anytime you draw something, this is this cylinder. This is me turning the cylinder, tilting the cylinder. This is the cylinder. This is me tilting the cylinder up. You're going to start seeing the circle, and it's going to be shorter. Okay, so the more I tilt this up, the shorter it's going to become, the more you're going to see the circle. So almost like this. But the one thing you see is this is going back in space. It's going back and becoming a cone, but because this is rounded, it'll never be pointed, because you know. So, and that's the same thing with the leg. With this, anything that goes back is going to be like that. So this one is going to do the same thing. We have the bottom, top of the roof of the house. So we're going to have this one, and it goes in. It tilts kind of in. Whenever you run or you do something fast, your arms won't be out like this. This is an extreme example. It's going to come in. Like if I'm running, that leg is going to come in to give me greater balance, number one, but it narrows the body down, and you get a little bit more speed. Just like if I run, I'm not going to run with my arms out. I'm going to run. You're going to run with your arms close in, and then in toward the back like that. So just remember, you bring stuff in, like this leg, it goes out and it actually comes in a little bit, which I can adjust with that. But this one, like I said, it's going to be the cone. It's going to go in. Let's do this like this, like this. And it's going to go back. Like that. Make this a little darker so hopefully you can see this. But these are just pieces, like I'm saying, they're pieces stuck on top of another piece, stuck on top of another piece, shifted and adjusted. That's all drawing is. All right, so let me get the knee, which the knee is going to be right here. And then we're going to get the other part of the cone that's going to go back as well. So the cone is going to be like this. And then back like that. Chop it off where you want the foot to go. Now, when I put it all together, it fits. You're putting the parts as close as you can, you know, to this, if not behind it, you're like drawing through it. And then the foot is going to be actually be more like this. And that's kind of a bit of a triangle. This is more of a kite, really. Like that. All right, so we have this. We're going to do a square for the hand real quick. Just a square. Now, one thing about the hand, it took me a minute to understand this. I used to draw hands. When I would draw the arm, I would draw the hand like this. You know, here's my thumb, here's my finger, finger, finger. But the thing is, at the bottom, it's straight like this. Where your baby finger is, that arm goes straight. Only where your thumb is does it come out. It took me a minute to kind of realize that when I was still drawing, like my shoulders were off. If you look at your hand, basically this goes straight by and this goes that. That's why when you draw, you want this to be kind of on a straight line like that. And wherever your thumb is, it's going to go out. And then we have this here. It's going to do this. And this is basically just a square right here. And then triangle right there. So basically it's like this. And this is the beginning forms. This is the beginning shapes that you use to draw. All right, so we have the point where we have our neck. I'm going to put the neck in blue. So it's going to come into that. At this point, it's going to be this V right here. And it's going to go up to wherever the head is tilted. You can always adjust the size later. And then we're going to put the head. I'm going to put the head. No, let's put it in red. I didn't want it to be so close to the torso. So I'm going to do, just like I did this, I'm going to do this shape until I get this right size head, the right tilt with it. And then I have my blue. I can fix that. And remember, these shoulders, what's left over are my shoulders, and they're going to stop right there at the center point of this circle, right going into your delt. So what we have right here is a pretty good representation of the drawing that we're trying to draw. And just by using these circles and cylinders and cones, we have that. You have a good form. You have a good form. Now you straighten it out. Now, if I had to erase anything, it wouldn't hurt me because I don't have my muscles in there. I don't have my abs. I don't have any of that stuff in there. And it's just easy because all I'm doing is shortening or widening or rounding the pieces off a little bit more. Did that in red to make it work a little better. And I say this is where a lot of young artists, they try to draw the whole thing and they get so frustrated that they give up. It's like, never give up your dream. That's what I say at the end of my videos. Never give up your dream. Let me get a swallow of water. I get about 1,000 words and then my throat gets dry. Yeah, that's just me. Okay, so now we have that form really, really close to it. Now I can say to myself, and I can use a pencil. This is why I use 2 color pencils, so that I can define one part from another part. Usually I'll draw everything in red. I don't have a, let me see if I have an example somewhere close by to show you. Now usually I'll draw everything in red. I think this is one of my action poses that you guys are going to see later on. I'll do everything in red, and if I have anything extra, then I'll do it in blue, get my throat right. And then when I want to detail it for the final detail, I'll use a pencil to make sure everything is lined up and right, and then I will ink it. But you always stop and you walk away. I say you turn your paper over for a minute so you can get it out of your face, get it out of your sight and your memory. Then you turn it back over, and then you can see if there's any mistakes to that drawing. So let's kind of fix this up a little bit. I'm just going to use this one color. Let's use red for the whole thing. So we have this curve. It's going to be connected to that. Since this is going back, this is going to be rounded. This is going to be up like this. With my knee here. This is going to be the calf. So it's going to be rounded out like this, going down to the foot. The foot is going to have some roundness to it. This is going to have a little meat, add a little bit of meat to it. It's going to be round. A little meat to it. And to see, this is when you kind of like start learning the muscles. You know how the muscles go. And this is behind that, which is here, which I will bring back a little longer. And then put the foot here. We've got this shoulder coming down behind here. And as I said, this is, because he's got a big arm, this is pretty much back here. So I'm using the oval, and then the forearm comes from behind here. So I'm just adding some roundness to everything to bring it together. The hand, like I say, is a fist. The hand is a fist. Yes, the hand is more of a square. The thumb is a square. Your fingers just cut through that square. Make the wrist a little bigger because he is strong. So we have this cylinder this is leaning. So we have this is important because this is the part that toys don't do. Collarbone, then your delt goes up. Like I said, this is that circle, and then this comes into that circle. But then this goes right to your chest, okay? And that arm comes out of there and into there, right? Which gives you, which lifts this shoulder up, brings this shoulder down. Okay, so that's important. Okay, so the same thing with this one. Here it goes up here, and then there is your delt, and this arm goes over it, just like I was saying, but rotating, comes down into your bicep, and then depending on which muscle, because this actually kind of fits in between. You have this little area here which your muscle goes to. If you see this, okay, you know, it kind of like wraps around almost. Your bicep goes in like this, then you have this little dip here which goes to your thumb, that bone, because you have 2 bones in this arm, and when you twist it, you'll see that bone turn. That's why you have this line, and it actually goes to your thumb, towards your thumb. So wrapping this up, I'm gonna keep going. It's gonna go around. You have this, and as I say, this comes to your chest. This comes down to your chest because it's turned. Because it is turned, comma, you are going to, it's going to go in front of that delt. Remember that. And that chest is going to go right up to that collarbone, to the end of the collarbone. So the more you turn this, the more this half of the chest is going to become like a half of a triangle. It's going to go right up to this neck. It's going to come down and around like this. If this is the torso, it's in a line here. You got your collarbone. You're not going to get much collarbone here depending on the turn. So your chest is going to be like this. It's going to come right up, and then you're going to get that part of that delt, because this part of the chest is going to be covering. You get that part of the delt, and then the arm could go back and come out, which a lot of positions do that, or the arm could come out and up. But you have to remember, this chest goes like this. Like I said, it's got almost half of a triangle, except it's round right here, and then you have this, because this is tilted back, you'll see that delt right here, center, and then there. And because this is turned, you're going to see that delt more from the side. Because I used to put I would always put the delts, and this is what I'm saying, I would always put the delts way out here. So we'd have this, and we have this long collarbone, and we have my delt and my arm right here. And I kind of saw something was wrong, but I did not know what it was until I learned to shift the delt with the body, and then it becomes right. All right, so 37 minutes, not too bad. Let's give it about 5 more minutes. So we're going to use the red. I should use a pencil, but too much glare. So I'm going to bring this in. Remember, the stomach is going to come in too. So if I do abs, my abs are going to go, but I'm not going to do abs. Come in, my waist. Then this. So this, like I said, this is going to curve because the leg is shaped. It goes in kind of like this. Like that. And since this one is back, it's going to be more rounded. Like that. Okay, so you have this. Okay, again, we're going to have this cone. Bring this cone out a little bit more. So this arm is going to be completely connected. It's not going to go in and have a piece. It's going to be completely connected. This, again, is your hand. And I'm going to draw it like this because you can see a little back of the hand. You have this square right here with this little point. You have this with this. This is what I have. Now, to see the back of the hand, you're still going to have this, but you're going to bring this back like that to a point, because these are your fingers, and you won't see the other fingers except this one wraps in. This little baby finger tucks in like that, okay? And from the angle, you won't see a lot of the other fingers, but it tucks in, and then you're going to have your palm. You're going to see your palm. And then your thumb is just that little square right there. So if I did this, I'm just going to drop this down. It's going to be the back of my hand. It's going to be my first finger, second finger, third finger, baby finger, tucked in. And then, like I say, that, because he's got the shield, he's holding on to the strap for the shield. Yeah, I think that's going to be it for this. And say from this, you start detailing. You say, okay, now the belt is like right here. So I'm going to bring this leg up. You start picking that stuff apart, and as I said, you don't have you haven't drawn a lot of detail, so you don't feel bad about erasing something and moving it over. Now your serratus muscles, which are like right here, if you draw a point from here to like this, where your hip is, so under here is going to be like a fang. If you draw a fang, like a tiger fang or something, and you put your ribs there, that's your serratus muscle, serratus, and then your latissimus dorsi is over here. You don't see these stripes, I'm just showing you it's rounded like this. And then you can do some ribs under here, which actually go to your ab. So your abs come down, and you're gonna have this space right there. And that's the bit that's doing muscle. That's the kind of stuff I show you on the action pose position. But this was showing you just the basis to draw really quickly and get it right the first time. And this is going to go, I already did that. It's going to go under there. the first time. See, now I'm going to start rambling, and it's going to be a 50-minute video. So that's going to be it. I'm going to leave it at this. Let's just, come on, Brian. You know you're an artist. You got to do. I got to do it. And the strap. I'm not going to do too much of it, but I got to put the shield here. And if you get this and you say, like you say, I want to do something more, put a sword or whatever. It don't have to be Captain America. Because you have this ball, if you want to move the arm, I don't want this out because it's not Captain America. I want this hand down. Here is your cylinder. And this part is going to be either out or in, however, for the sake of time. Here is my cone. Like that, and here is my hand. However, so it means weird, but you can you see how simple it is when you just take this. This is not going to move. This is not going to move. This is going to be on the shoulder. This is going to move. This is going to rotate around. This is just going to go up and down because of the collarbone. This is going up and down because of the collarbone. This is going to rotate. Once you learn how to draw these shapes and you learn to turn them, twist them, bend them, whatever you got to do, then it's so simple to draw. If I wanted to draw this arm up, use a red. This arm up. I'm going to take this ball again. Put my cylinder here. Let's use blue. Put my cylinder here. Since you're going to see the inside, it's going to be there. And then I can put this one back. This is my cone going back. Chop it off where I want the hand to be. And it could be like, yeah, come on, you know, be at the club or something. Or he could be reaching to pull his sword out from his back. But it's simple to draw. Just nobody teaches you this stuff because people want to show you how good they are at drawing. A lot of people are great artists, but everybody's not a teacher, okay? They can't do that. I learned that when I was trying to find videos on how to use Photoshop. No. Nobody, no, not one. Maybe a bit more now, but back then, no. They were just so engrossed in showing you how good they can draw and color and blah, blah, blah. So that's going to be it before I start rambling about other people's videos but that's their channel. They can do what they want to do. This is what I do. I try to teach people. All right, so that's going to be it for this video, and I will see you guys in the next video. And yeah, if you liked it, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, tell a friend. All right, so never give up your dream, ever, ever, ever. Now, it makes it less frustrating when you have to erase because you're not erasing all of the detail that you put in the very end of your drawing. All right, that's it. I'm out. Later.